Good morning, everybody. This is COOLA. We're doing a late edition of the pre-market prep release. So what this is going to be a little bit of a live action slash recap of what we saw yesterday. I'm having a little bit of health issues and started some medicine yesterday, and man, it really KO'd me yesterday. So into this morning, I slept right through my alarms. So I mean, that's my apologies for those who faithfully follow. My bad, but I do plan on doing a little bit of a coverage this morning, and see if that is something that you might be interested in, a little bit of live action here. Um, so first thing first, let's do a quick shout out to the sponsors, Game at Edge and Black Box Stocks, and we'll get right into it, guys. Okay, so what did we see this morning, and what are we looking at? First thing first, take a look at macros. You're going to see that today we saw challenger job cuts year over year drop significantly. And then we're also seeing ADP non-farm employment change. This is a large shrink and maybe a sign of contraction. We already saw the GDP drop, and now we're seeing ADP non-farm employment change. Is this a sign of recession? Potentially. So we have tomorrow our non-farm employment change, and then we're going to see, which we're already kind of getting that now. We're seeing that that's going to likely drop, and average hourly earnings. One of my favorite things. We're going to get the unemployment rate. So imagine we're going to see the unemployment uptick. We're going to see average hourly earnings probably increase, and then non-farm employment change probably roll back as well. So interesting little data tomorrow as we get PMI, virtually 15 minutes and 30 minutes after open. So this definitely can impact this. And then this one right here, factory orders, is going to be month over month, is going to be pretty significant. They think a big rise is coming, and it has potential to do that. But if this comes in short again, that's really going to be insightful and showing that we're going to see some potential pullbacks. Okay. So right now, what are we looking at? Data this morning had us virtually showing that 6190 would be the floor, and we're looking towards that 6225 area. We're breaking over the top of our key level here at 6200. Into this right here, I would say would be an ideal long over 6200, looking to hold this positive range, and you can see that this risk versus reward starts to grow. And as we get to some of these supply areas, you can look to trim some of this, but I wouldn't do this with a 0 day. You definitely need something like a 1 day, or potentially even like a 1 week expiration. Look to add into, say, this key level here, or even add into the a positive transitional area that has been tested multiple times. So if we do get in this range, I think even if we surpass this stop down here, I think it'll be quickly bought. And then we'll see this kind of rise from here. So I'm just buying calls into this at this point and seeing if this thing wants to continue to rise and get towards the top of this range. Let me show you real quick. SBX showing us that 6190 is the floor. Break below that, then we could potentially see some volatility, but right now I do believe that 6225 is likely going to bring us in here. We don't have a lot of contracts today, so that is an interesting read, and we're going to see if this thing wants to continue to go up from here. So NetGex is here. Wouldn't surprise me just to see some chop around the 6200 range, but I definitely want to see this play is something that's really worth it, based on the risk versus reward here. So let's take a look at let's look at yesterday real quick. Yesterday we had this identified. I've already updated this range. It's a little bit unfair, but we had the range down in here towards this like 6170 range. And so this thing came and tried to press towards the bottom. We actually exited a put right here in this level, and nice little release there. And we're seeing a potential move up towards the top of that range yesterday, which is right above 62. I think it was like 62. It might have been 62.25, and then it was a little bit tighter on SPX, or excuse me, SPY at 619, which is virtually the high of the day there. Moving in towards this now, again, you could see this nice little move here. Anything at the 6200 level, look at this nice candle here. Any retest here virtually is I'm looking for a potential entry if you want to try 0-day lotto, because of the time frame, because of the positioning. That's why I would call it a lotto. But it does look very positive, very much looking like it's going to potentially squeeze today up towards that 62.25, or even if it's just a staircase, one of those days, low volume, cream rises to the top type of deal. Let's look at NVIDIA. Yesterday we talked about this move here, and right until towards the low, and we try to give it a little bit of time into that supply. Remember that? And boom, we're getting the big push off of that, and we're seeing a rise up towards that 62 area. We said if it breaks through this, watch for it to test that 152.5, and we give it a little bit of a cushion here towards that supply, and that's exactly what happened. So we're gonna see if this thing wants to continue to press. Based on what I'm seeing here, 157.5 is definitely something that you need to be monitoring. Let's take a look real quick. Still very much call dominated here. A really large position here being built at 160. So continues to be sold on, continues to be just a barrier growing and growing and growing. I don't see us surpassing 160 this week by any chance. And then you can see that 165 starts to grow a couple weeks out. And then we start seeing some negative downside here as well. Starts to shrink a little bit. But as of what we're seeing today, into that 157.5 to 160 range is kind of what we're expecting. So we talked about this yesterday, where we could see it kind of come here. This was the defining point for us, and then it would drop down from this level. And that's exactly what happened at that defining level. Let me clear some of this up. Okay, so nice move on NVIDIA, and then we're seeing let's go to Tesla. So this one was interesting, right? So we talked about the test yesterday off of that area where we talked about the volatility coming down here could come and test that 292 range. Well, we got right around that 293 range, and it popped off of that, and then really came off here off the rejection. We talked about the potential test up towards 310. Didn't get all the way up to 310, but came down to 300 and just chopped on it. And then we said if we see that just chop here, watch for the push up towards that 320 level. And we can see that right now, this is no longer a pivot for us. Let me remove this. This would be a support at this point at 310. It is a larger put dominated day for Tesla. So I guess I can show it to you. I just want to do a little quick shout out to the accuracy of what that looked like, by the way. 310, pretty significant. You see that 300 has one too. So if we see it slip 310 again, I wouldn't be surprised to see this thing try to retest 300, but don't be surprised to see it recover back over a 310 move. I imagine that we're likely to see this thing close above the daily 200, which is right around that 312 area that we've been talking about for the week. Looking here, like I said, put dominated here, but get over the top of 310. Wouldn't be surprised to see us go and test this 317.5 to 320 transitional area. Supply is at 325. So the retest is in this 317 to 320 area, and then we'll see if it wants to how it responds there, but clearly you can see people are selling up at the high of the day, which is virtually the open. We're seeing it kind of get sold on here. So let's see if it retests 310. At that point, if you see some type of volume build on this, come and retest 310, you see volume build and start to see some buying. Wouldn't be surprised to see this thing test 317 to 320 today. If we slip this right here, then I would expect this thing to potentially retest into that 300 before recovering up towards that 320, or excuse me, that 310 look. So let's mark that out. I guess we'll act this as support here now, and we'll see how that goes. All right. So keep an eye on that 300, 310 level, excuse me, and we'll see if this wants to bounce off towards that 317 to 320 area. If it slips it, don't be surprised to see it come and test the likes of that 300 to 298 level. Okay, so that's covered virtually everything for us. SPY, you can see yesterday's range was into this level. And this was yesterday's range. Like I said, came right up towards the top of that range yesterday, and ultimately got sold on back towards that 6,200 level, which is right there at 617.55. Now we're seeing it press off of that. We're seeing it get into these supply area. SPY has this thing on the opening print up towards 620, so don't be surprised to see that. That kind of matches what we're seeing on what we're seeing on SPX as well, right? We talked about this going long off of 6,200 and into some of these supply areas, and 620 is a little bit higher than this, I believe. Let me make sure I'm not fabricating that. Yeah, 620 is a little bit higher than that previous day high. So again, watch that staircase, watch that big sell, but this move off 6,200 with a nice move here, taking a liquidity area here. So wouldn't be surprised to see this thing maybe make its way up towards this range here and then see a sell down. It could be drastic to come down here and then make a move like that. It could be as drastic as that, but I think we're more than likely just kind of find ourselves chopping and try to make that move up here. So pretty significant on the day that we're seeing a positive gamma in a positive gamma area on SPY into a low volume, potentially even to tomorrow. If we take a look at trend box here, let's take a look. Virtually has us at 62.63, so we can see that extension up to there. It doesn't necessarily 62.60. What I say, 62.63, 62.63 on SPX. So much higher than what we have right here. If we break over the top of this, then watch for some type of crazy squeeze up here, but I think it's more than likely that we see some type of move up towards that range into tomorrow than seeing a close there today. Okay. If you're interested in getting trend box, this is available now on the indicators at TradingView for free. This is a containment and distribution kind of monitor as we move up here. So I'm not going to get into it. It's all in there. But okay, hopefully this is helpful. Hopefully this is, like I said, sorry for today, being a little bit late, but it is what it is at this point. This medicine KO'd me, straight up KO'd me. So we're going to monitor this. If you want to take one more shot at a potential move here, watch for this thing to come back down towards that 6,200 level and maybe take a 0-day lotto to see if it'll press up towards 62.15 and into that 62.25 area later in the day. So very, very positive type of price action today. Confirmation breaks right through 6,200. This is a thing where you can kind of buy and just kind of sit in it and just say, hey, I think we're going to press up towards this level. Make sure it's a lower size bid for you, because we could always just come back towards 6,200 and kind of rope it and kind of burn the day. But I highly doubt that's going to be the look we're getting, I think we might get a little bit of a sell down and then get a squeeze in the PM. So if we don't get the sell down and then the squeeze into the PM, watch for a potential sell down if we get up to this level prior to visiting down towards 6,200. All right, guys, hopefully this was helpful. Again, I want to show you guys something right quick. We are at wap.com/rawstocks. You can join us. Come to the Rawstocks Premium Trader and hit join. This is going to get you to our community. I want to show you guys something. So normally $103.95 a month. Come in here, type in $1, hit apply, and you're going to get this virtually completely off, right? Makes it $98. There is a processing fee, and that's what you're seeing there. So turns from $99 a month to $5.95. And you can see this, you could get access to what we do for virtually $5. Okay. If you're interested in that, that is at wap.com/rawstocks, or visit our website, rawstocksllc.com. Make sure you guys subscribe, and until next time, we'll catch you later.